Welcome back to the Curious Kid podcast. When it comes to animals, nearly all of them share some common features. A face with ears, eyes, a nose and a mouth, a heart, a brain, and some other organs that are necessary for living. Some animals are a little bit different, and you have to wonder, how do they see, hear, eat, and even live? This week, we are going to learn about a fascinating animal that does things a whole lot differently than most other animals.
Septuple mailbag!
Septuple mailbag! That's 7, and since 7 listeners suggested this topic, we are going to abbreviate some of the messages to save some time. Hi, my name is Oliver and I am 5 years old. I live in Alabama. My family recently discovered your podcast and are excited to listen to more of it on our road trip this summer. I am curious about worms and would love an episode all about worms. Dear Jacob and Olivia, I'm Tirzah, 11 years old, and I live in Hong Kong with my brother Ezra, age 13. We love your podcast every time we listen to it. I would like for you to do a podcast about earthworms. Thank you for all your hard work to answer questions we all want answers to. Hello, Jacob and Olivia. Izzy and Liam from Michigan really enjoy your podcast. They say it helps them learn a bunch of cool things in really fun ways, and they want you to get curious about worms. Thank you so much for the work you do. We really look forward to your podcast every Sunday. Hello! We love your podcast and listen to it daily during breakfast before school. Claudia and Adeline are twin 6-year-olds in Ohio. They are curious about worms. Thank you. Hi, Jacob and Olivia. I am Grace, and I am 4.5. I am from Illinois, and I'm curious about worms. My favorite show you did was about scorpions. I like listening to you everywhere. Dear Jacob and Olivia, I'm curious about how worms live since they don't have eyes, ears, nose, or mouth. I know that they have no legs and wiggle to move around. We love your podcasts and listen every time we are in the car. Thanks and have a great day. Ben from Missouri. Hi, I am Nicholas from Canada and I'm curious about worms. Keep up the good work.
Wowee! We are so delighted to get so many wonderful messages from all around the world. Thank you guys for being the best pod squad out there. We are lucky that you are joining us for the weekly learning journey. I am absolutely pumped to get curious about worms for Oliver, Tirzah, Ezra, Izzy, Liam, Claudia, Adeline, Grace, Ben, and Nicholas.
Today we are going to dive deep underground, metaphorically, to explore the squiggly, wiggly, totally underrated world of worms.
And you may think worms are just slimy little creatures that hang in your backyard after it rains. But guess what? They're super important to the planet, like superhero level important.
Also, some worms are kind of terrifying. We're looking at you, parasitic worms.
Get ready to laugh, learn, and maybe feel a little bit itchy, because this episode is all about worms. The good, the bad, and the downright fascinating.
How about we get things started with the question of the week?
Great idea. The largest earthworm ever discovered was found in South Africa. The question of the week is, how long do you think the earthworm was when measured from head to tail?
Ew, I'm hoping you can measure it with a standard foot-long ruler, but I'm kind of thinking it might be a bit longer than that. What do you think? Okay, Olivia, if someone walked up to you and said, "Hey, what's a worm?" what would you say?
I'd probably say it's a tube of muscle and goo that eats up dirt and has no eyes, which is surprisingly accurate.
Yeah, a worm isn't just one thing though. There are tons of creatures we call worms, but they're not all related. Earthworms, flatworms, roundworms, bristleworms. They're like the last name Smith of the animal world.
Exactly. Some scientists don't even like the word worm because it's so vague. It just describes a body shape, long, soft, squishy, and usually legless. They're like nature's spaghetti, except alive and sometimes gross.
But some of them are awesome. Earthworms, for example, are annelids. That's a fancy science word meaning segmented worms. You know those little ridges across their bodies? Those are segments.
Each segment has little bristles called setae that help the worm grip the soil and move. It's like they've got tiny traction pads all over their bodies.
Which is great because they don't have legs, arms, or wheels for that matter. Imagine trying to dig through the dirt with your face. That's basically what a worm does all day.
Let's talk body parts, because when it comes to worms, no eyes, no lungs, no problem. They are so different from us. It's like they're from another planet.
But they're not. They're right here with us, and some of them have been around longer than dinosaurs. But yeah, they have no eyes, no ears, no lungs, and still they manage just fine.
They breathe through their skin, which is why they need to stay moist. If their skin dries out, they can't get oxygen, and well, worm goodbye.
Worms also have a brain, sort of. It's a cluster of nerve cells in their heads. But they also have a nerve cord running down their body that helps them move and react.
And get this, worms have 5 hearts. 5! That's 4 more than me and you. They're called aortic arches, and they help pump blood through their bodies.
So next time someone says worms are simple, just remind them that they've got 5 hearts, can breathe through their skin, and dig tunnels without a single tool. Pretty advanced if you ask me.
Let's shine a spotlight, or better yet, a flashlight, on the most famous worm of all, the earthworm.
Earthworms are amazing creatures. They help keep the ground healthy by digging tunnels and eating dead stuff. Sounds gross, but it's essential.
When they move through the dirt, they mix it up, like stirring a giant underground cake. This helps air and water get to plants' roots.
And when they poop, yes, we're talking worm poop, it makes the soil super nutritious. Gardeners actually call it black gold.
Worms can eat half of their body weight in dirt every single day. Dad, that would be like you eating 90 pounds of mashed potatoes daily. Can you even imagine?
I kind of want to try. I like a challenge.
Please don't. The point is, worms are incredible recyclers. Without them, a lot of our ecosystems would fall apart.
All right, Olivia, it's time to travel the globe and meet some of the weirdest worms ever. And I promise, it only gets either cooler or creepier from here.
I'll take cool over creepy. First up, the ribbon worm. These worms can stretch to insane lengths. Some are longer than 100 feet. That's longer than most school buses.
Ribbon worms have an interesting superpower. They can shoot out a sticky, harpoon-like structure to snag prey. Nature's own worm toy gone wild.
We also have the bobbit worm. These ocean predators can grow up to 10 feet long, hide in sand, and snag up fish with lightning-fast jaws. Think of it as a prehistoric worm meets scorpion.
Their jaws come from behind, and they leap out of the sand. Fish don't even know what hit them. Terrifying and fascinating all at once.
On the land side, there's the glowworm, a larva from a type of beetle. They glow in caves or forest floors, lighting their way while they hunt. It's like they carry a little flashlight.
Also, glowworms are used in science. The glowing substance, luciferin, helps scientists study DNA and medical stuff. Who knew worms could light the path for science?
Okay, hold on to your seats. It's about to get gross. If you are easily grossed out, you might want to fast forward by about a minute to avoid all the disgusting stuff. Let's talk parasitic worms. These guys don't help the environment like earthworms. They invade other creatures, including us.
We've got tapeworms, those ribbon-like worms that can live inside your intestines. They latch on and eat the food you eat. You might not even feel them.
They can grow up to 33 feet long. And yeah, they absorb nutrients right out of the food you just enjoyed.
Then there are roundworms. One example of a nasty roundworm is hookworm. Hookworms get through your skin when you walk barefoot in contaminated soil. They can climb up to your lungs, go down the throat, and settle in your gut. Yikes!
Another nasty member of the worm world is guinea worm, which squirms through your body and pops out from your skin. People have to soak the blister in water so the worm comes out, sometimes a few feet long.
Ouch! But here's the happy part. Guinea worm infections used to be common, but thanks to clean water, they're just about wiped out.
So, while parasitic worms are gross, they are extremely rare and people fight them off with medicine and clean water and can avoid parasitic worms with good hygiene.
Let's transition to worms that do good. Worms play a big part in sustainable living with something called vermicomposting, which turns kitchen scraps into super rich fertilizer.
Red wigglers are the star worm here. You toss in fruit peels, eggshells, coffee grounds, and they gobble it up. Their castings, which is the polite way of saying worm poop, are nutrient-packed and loved by plants.
Backyard gardeners and even big farms use this method to reduce waste, feed soil, and skip chemical fertilizers. Worms are doing farm chores for free.
Some entrepreneurs even breed worms as fish bait or animal feed. So worms help the planet and people in multiple ways.
Now here's a mind-blowing fact. Some worms are capable of regeneration.
In other words, they can repair missing parts of their bodies. Planarian flatworms can regrow missing parts and even regenerate if cut into pieces. With this type of worm, if it's cut in half, both halves become new worms.
Earthworms can regenerate segments too, but only a few. Worm regeneration helped scientists understand stem cells, which are cells that make more cells. Researchers hope it leads to breakthroughs in human healing someday.
Alright, before we squirm out of here, let's bring in my brother to share some worm facts. Here, with 5 unbelievable facts you need to know about worms is Noah. Take it away, Noah! Fact number 1. A group of worms is called a wriggle, so it's a wriggle of worms. Try saying that 5 times fast. Wriggle of worms. Fact number 2. Even though worms don't have eyes, ears, or a nose, they are still able to sense light, vibration, and temperature through their skin. Fact number 3. Some worms can live more than 10 years if they're safe and happy in their environment. Fact number 4. A worm's brain is smaller than a grain of rice, but it still helps it move, eat, and hide. Fact number 5. Worms don't have teeth. They grind up food in a part of their body called the gizzard, using tiny stones.
Noah, you delivered some amazing facts as usual. It's now time to answer the question of the week. Earthworms are usually pretty small. The average earthworm is about 8 inches, or 20 centimeters long. The longest earthworm ever discovered was significantly longer than that. Olivia, how long was the longest earthworm ever found?
The longest earthworm was 22 feet long, which is close to 7 meters. This monster of an earthworm was discovered in South Africa. Can you imagine seeing an earthworm that long? It's absolutely insane.
Well, that's a wrap for this week's episode.
Thanks so much for listening to this week's podcast number 323 on worms.
Great job, Olivia, and great job, Oliver, Tirzah, Ezra, Izzy, Liam, Claudia, Adeline, Grace, Ben, and Nicholas for giving us an episode topic suggestion so good it turned me into a bookworm looking up interesting facts for this episode. Before we say goodbye, we have special listeners to thank.
We want to thank our newest Patreon supporters, Lauren Y. and Harrison H.
A big thanks to Lauren and Harrison for the support. Our Patreon supporters get a ton of extra content for as little as $1 a month, including bonus monthly episodes on amazing moments in sports history. This month's story is an absolutely bonkers story from basketball history that you would not believe. If you sign up for Patreon now, you get access to the whole back catalog, so hours of extra content you can listen to right away. We wouldn't be able to keep this podcast going without the support of our fans on Patreon. Join us next week when we will get curious about eyesight for listeners in England, Canada, and Massachusetts. As always, thank you so much for listening and getting curious with us.